just to give you a brief recap of what we have discussed, we discussed about the social transition from traditional to cosmonity, and what was the dominant form of collective experience, what was dominant economic activity, and what was dominant organizational structure or form in these four structures where we were talking about traditionality, modernity, cybernity, and cosmonity. So, I gave you a brief distinction among these four, that what changed actually. When we talk about cosmonity, it says that we are having, if as far as the dominant form of collective experience is concerned, it is home based, it is having the reflection of home based offices with remote. And if we talk about dominant economic activity, here the connectivity, information based processes, that is something which is the dominant economic activity in this era which belongs to cosmonity. And if we talk about dominant organizational structure or format which is available for business houses, it is supposed to be internet or interconnected fishnet, we call it, that cosmonity is giving, is showing us the path of future, where there is a complete dominance of ICT, that is information and communication technology, and the advancement of technology is going to be reflected into the entire organizational structure, and that is going to be a new definition of what we call as organizational development. So, that transition, the social transition from traditional to cosmonity was explained in the previous lecture of mine. Now, I will tell you about the cost and benefit involved into it, that what cost have we incurred on account of having this cosmonity or cybernity with us. If we are leaving, if we are making a transition from traditional and modern to cybernity and cosmonity, what is the cost involved into it, and what benefit do I derive as a human being, as a part and parcel of that organizational structure. So, with the arrival of modernity, the collective form of human life became more factory centric, or you can say it became closed system centric. So, it is actually working as a system which is a closed system centric. So, the centricity is closed in this way, and the benefit during the modern era, we also find large trading organizations as engines of collective forms of human life. So, these large trading organizations, they are acting as engines of collective form of human life. And if we talk about the factory centric mindset, what it has done, when we are having a mindset which is completely production oriented or factory centric, it actually creates a narrow or the closed system worldview. You are basically confined to the four walls of your factory. You can say that in a way you are having that closed mindset, and you don't want to see beyond those four walls of the factory. That is the limitation of it. And the trading organizations, they turned into instruments of colonial expansion and economic operation. So, this entire outcome of colonial expansion and economic operation, which means you are going to suppress some other weaker units of the society just for your own benefit, just for emerging as a monopolist in the market. This actually gave a lot of fertile land for this kind of mindset. So, this is the cost involved into it. We actually became factory centric, our mindset became narrow, and we were actually working as a part of closed system, and not looking beyond the four walls of our factory. In fact, during the capitalist times, the Protestant ethics and the spirit of capitalism, it turned into capitalist ethics, and the spirit of colonialism with economic exploitation of the others as the symbol of achievement. If you are an achiever, you will definitely, the symbolic expression of that is that you are going to exploit others in terms of economic affairs. So, economic exploitation of the others, it becomes the symbol for achievement, symbolic of your achievement, that you are successful. If you are able to ensure that you are exploiting others economically, then of course it is a symbol of your success, which is of course not true for long run. This kind of mindset cannot let you sustain for long. it is not at all sustainable. You can't sustain with this kind of mindset. So this is a cost involved into this kind of mindset. Now if we look at the changing paradigm with the emergence of the cybernity, the metaphor of office as against factory has become significant. So factory is now at the lower pedestal as compared to the office. In cybernity, the metaphor of office is becoming more and more significant. And if this is a scenario, then of course there is huge change into your mindset. And we all know that services, we are now having service oriented economies. Services have become a more dominant aspect of economic activity, specifically for developing economies. And these corporate organizations, they have turned into network types, that is for instance we can say emergence of franchising, or there are different new forms of business houses where you don't require any factory setup. You are not into manufacturing, but still you are into trading activities. So you require the offices which are turning into network types. So in a way you are creating your own network, and on that you are working. So it is not only your two hands which are earning, you are actually creating your own other hands by the way of franchising, and whatever they are doing into their business affairs, whatever performance they are ensuring, some part of that is coming to you on account of royalty, on account of licensing fee, on account of some charges which you are deciding. So this business format have actually resulted into the exit from the factory setup to the office one. Now you are belonging to an office where you try to ensure that your network becomes strong day by day. Now the office and the networking provides the model for collective form of human life, including reorganized manufacturing processes. So manufacturing is of course significant, but along with that your networking is also playing a significant role under the era of cybernity, where the technology is helping us eliminating the boundaries, eliminating the distances. World is actually becoming the flat. It has actually become the flat, which means the distances have been eliminated. In a fraction of second, you can talk to your business partners at one point of time by sitting at your own office in one part of any specific country or the world. You can stay connected with each and every partner spread across the world. So this is the new change which we are witnessing, and it is thanks to the technological revolution which has resulted into this kind of change. But in the movement towards cosmology, the story doesn't end here. We are not stopping at cybernity. We are basically moving a step ahead. We talk about cosmology. And here we may witness emergence of home-based organizations with remote connectivity. You don't even need to go to the office. So from factory to office, and now office to again home. So home has become a new place for business organizations. And in true sense it is going to be the family oriented business. When we say that we take our organization as a family, so that family feel is coming from home. So office has actually reached to the home. So these home based organizations with remote connectivity, they are actually making our job as an organization more easy and more convenient. But at the same time we need to understand that the business format has actually changed. We don't require those huge offices where people were sitting in hundreds or thousands of numbers, and they were interacting with each other. So there can be some delay also because of the remote connectivity, but yes, this is the new form of business organization, new form of organizations which we are witnessing, or which we are supposed to witness in years to come. So the journey from traditionality to cosmology have actually given impetus to lot of change into the organizations, and this is actually the organizational development in true sense, in real sense. Now we no more talk about profit maximization. We have started talking about profit optimization. Because when I say profit maximization, it means my job is to maximize the profit at any cost. Wherein when I say profit optimization, I would be willing to ensure that my profit should increase, but there is a reasonable limit to that profit need to be optimum without hurting anybody, without creating any problem to any of the stakeholders. So it is closely associated with modernity. It was the emergence of capitalist times wherein profit maximization was a driving force. So it was a time where the businessman or the corporate owner used to think of profit only as a driving force, and their only job was to maximize the profit. Anything or everything which is not increasing, which is not able to ensure the increment in profit, that is useless for them. That is supposed to be a futile exercise for those business organizations. But the current view about organization is one of multiple stakeholders or interest holders. Now we don't talk about the entrepreneur only, the person who is taking risk. We talk about all the stakeholders. We have multiple stakeholders into our business organization, and they all have the similar kind of significance in the entire value chain. You can't ignore the other stakeholders when you are serving the purpose of the entrepreneur, the person who is taking risk. So by interest holders we mean those who have some interest in the organization, those who have some stake in the organization, because these people are important for us. These stakeholders are important for us. Imagine if your supplier is going to discontinue the supply. Can you survive? Can you maximize the profit? Imagine if your worker is not coming to the workplace. Can you ensure the smooth functioning of the organization? Answer is no. So each and every stakeholder has some important role to play. You cannot discount their value in the value chain. So and this is the point where we should think of profit maximization, in the light of profit optimization. Profit maximization vis-a-vis profit optimization. So if you will start looking from this perspective, you would never say as a owner that I want to maximize the profit. You can talk about maximizing wealth, you can talk about maximizing sales, but when it will come to profit, you would say I want optimum profit from this business. And this scenario calls for a paradigm shift from the term profit maximization to profit optimization, keeping in mind the requirements of all stakeholders, all those who are having interest into our business enterprise. When we say profit optimization, what does it encompasses? What it has? What it includes? What it comprises of? It comprises of the ethical dimension in the business. You are supposed to incorporate the ethical dimension in your business decision making, as against what we have been doing in profit maximization, where we were ignoring the business ethics in pursuit of maximizing profits. So gone are the days when we used to even think of sacrificing other interests on account of profit maximization by citing an example that no business can survive without profit. It is the profit only which is acting as a lifeblood to the business, and without profit we can't survive. We do agree to this notion that yes, profit is needed for survival, but blindly running after making profit at any cost, that is something which is not desirable, and in today's time at least I can say. And even if it is, even if you are thinking of doing so, you can't survive for long with this kind of motive that I want to maximize my profit. You will have to be into your reasonable limits. Nobody is stopping you from making profit, but decide your reasonable limit, that without hurting anybody else's interest or any stakeholder's interest, whatever maximum profit we can earn, we should earn, but we should not sacrifice. What is the cost of making that profit? That is very important. So ignoring business ethics in pursuit of maximizing profit is something which cannot be implemented in today's time. When we talk about cybernity and cosmonity, you cannot survive for long with this kind of idea. Now, what will be the future role? What would be the role of professional managers in future in the light of this transition from profit maximization to profit optimization? In future, the role of these professional managers is likely to be that of a trustee of various interest holders, rather than merely becoming an agent of the shareholders for maximizing the profit. Now imagine the trusteeship model which Mahatma Gandhi gave long back, that has made a comeback in the era where we say that we have made a transition from traditionality to modernity and then cybernity to cosmonity. Imagine how relevant it is. The trusteeship model is now making a comeback even in the era of cybernity, or what you call as cosmonity. So we are supposed to behave or act like a trustee of various stakeholders. We should not act as an agent of the shareholders for maximizing profit. That is also important, that you need to ensure some profit for shareholders, but that profit need to be at the optimum level, not at the maximum level. That profit should not be earned by any unethical ways and means. So this paradigm shift has implications for the organizational development, both in terms of theories and as well as the practice. So paradigm shift is there, and it has the implications for those who are involved into organizational development. They need to understand that there is going to be a metamorphical change into the theory and practice of OD, because this new view of organization is inherent in this paradigm shift. This new dimension of organization is included into this shift. So this paradigm shift is coming up with these sets of values which we are supposed to follow into our business organization. Now the question comes in this paradigm, the question of OD for whom? The question is that OD for whom? For whom I am going to develop my organization? This organizational development is for whom? So here the answer is OD for the stakeholders or for the shareholders. What is the reasonable way of answering? What is the right way of answering this question? Of course, you cannot say that my OD is only for shareholders. It should be for all stakeholders, and that is becoming significant. So we ensure we actually follow the stakeholder theory, in place of erstwhile shareholders theory, where we were simply looking at the capitalist, we were looking at those who were contributing capital to the business enterprises. So this stakeholders theory has become very significant and prominent in today's time. And a similar question could be raised to the role of change agents also. What is their role? The change agent is for whom? I am actually working as a change agent. I am ensuring the development of organizational development, and I am working as a change agent. But I am agent of whom? Whether I am working as an agent of management or workers or shareholders or customers or other interest holders, for instance you can say environmentalist or government institutions or social groups or all stakeholders. So whether I am working as my focus is holistic or it is lopsided. If I am talking about only one dimension, then of course it is supposed to be lopsided, which is not expected from me. So my dear learners, in this entire idea of from profit maximization to profit optimization, our objective is to bring in fore the entire idea of multiple stakeholders theory. We should work as an agent. We should not work as an agent. We should work as a trustee of the entire organization. If we really wish to ensure that my organization is developed in true sense, or this journey from traditionality to cosmonity should bear some fruits, then of course we have to ensure the stakeholder of each the stakeholder theory, the interest of all stakeholders. I cannot run the business organization, I cannot ensure the development of an organization by having some partial attitude or aptitude towards some selected stakeholders. Suppose if I say I will only work for management, workers and shareholders, I won't talk about customers, or it can be management, customers and workers, or it can be management and customers. So any permutation and combination, any selective approach out of all stakeholders is not going to give you the desired results. If as a manager, if as a leader you want to ensure that your organization should develop in true sense, you have to adopt a holistic approach of making profit. Now moving ahead, there is another dimension from behavioral psychology to spiritual psychology. The profit maximization and optimization was one dimension of this paradigm shift. The second one is from behavioral psychology to spiritual psychology. Now when we say spiritual psychology, people somehow wrongly they relate it to the religion, which is not so. The new OD should also be seen in the context of knowledge base available to us, not only from behavioral psychology but also from the different other aspects of psychology. Psychology doesn't belong to only behavioral psychology, it has several dimensions, it has multiple dimensions. Now, there is a two-level framework for human psychology. One is called behavioral, another is called spiritual. So, this two-level framework is very much useful, to understand what human psychology is all about. And Indian psychology has been essentially, having the feature of spirituality into it. If you ask anybody about Indian psychology, people call it Indian mythology. My dear learners, we need to correct ourselves. If you look at the origin of this word mythology, it originates from the word myth. Myth means which is not true. So, Indian mythology is not the right word to elaborate the Indian psychology. It is Indian psychology. It has essentially been talking about spiritualism, or what you call as the param psychology. The psychology as it focuses on experiences of nearness with the param atma, what you call as the Lord, the Almighty, the super power, of which we are the miniatures. We are supposed to be called as miniature of that Paramatma. We all understand that there is one Atma into our human body, and this is actually the miniature of the Paramatma, or what you call as the superpower. So, the power center which is behind me is actually a reflection of the magnitude of power which belongs to the Paramatma, to which we belong, to which we all belong. And it leads to what you call as bliss. We don't talk about only happiness, we talk about bliss, that is the superlative form of happiness, superlative form of what you call as sukh and anand, that is param sukh. So, it is only the Indian psychology where we talk about the sukh which is param, which is ultimate happiness. Beyond that, nothing else is left. So, this experience of param, they are the best described as bliss, or bliss, joy and peace. But what you call as Sat Chit Anand, that is you feel that state of bliss, you are in the joy and you feel contented, you are in peace. So, bliss, joy and peace, which is actually the translation of Sat Chit Ananda. In Hindi we call it Sat Chit Ananda. So, that is something, my dear learners, which we should understand, that what is spiritual psychology, and never call it mythology, never call it Indian mythology, because that is the wrong word to denote this Indian psychology. They are super peak experiences. If you ask me what is called param sukh, what is called bliss, joy and peace, what is called Satchit Anand, I would say it is basically the super peak experiences, or you can call it Himalayan experiences, as they are in the realm of super consciousness, which you witness, which you feel, and then only you believe that yes, I felt, I could touch that point where I had that super consciousness, I had that Himalayan experiences, I felt as if I was at my peak. So, here comes the comparison of this spiritual psychology to Maslow's concept of peak experiences, what Abraham Maslow talked about. So, it goes beyond what Maslow wanted to say. So, where Maslow ended, this spiritual psychology begins from there. So, it is basically an extension of that. The spiritual experiences, or the experiences of the sacred one in its super consciousness state, are the param, or super supreme in nature. And we all know that in ancient Indian psychology originated from such experiences. So, it should also be called as psychology of param sukha, or param experiences, or we call it spiritual psychology. So, spiritual psychology is giving us an idea of that super happiness in a state of super consciousness, and this psychology has traditionally been used by by our rishis, to whom we have been calling as gurus and healers for psychological healing through energy channeling and energy transfer. Imagine I am sitting here and I can talk about channelizing the energy or transferring the energy. American Manifesto of Organizational Development is basically rooted in behavioral psychology. It has yet to incorporate dimension of spiritual psychology, and this new OD would not only draw from behavioral psychology but also from spiritual psychology, and it incorporates the sacred dimension in the collectivity of humans' organizational experiences. And Maslow was talking about the farther reaches of human nature. Indian rishis took us to the farthest reaches of human nature, that is a superlative degree of that. And there are two steps which could represent the initial steps to the farthest reaches of human behavior. The one is self actualization, another is self realization. So, the self realization is actually letting us reach to the farthest reaches of human behavior. I will be telling you in detail about the farthest reaches of human behavior in next lecture of mine. I hope you must have enjoyed this very part of my discussion on the topic of new dimensions of OD. Thank you so much.